Alright, so in this video we're talking about more properties of powers, and these properties are going to help us rewrite problems and solve problems. So it's very important anytime I give you a property, you take the time, make sure you understand it, but also make sure it sticks in your brain. Okay, so my first property is when I'm multiplying the same bases, in this case a times a, you add the powers. For instance, if I have 2 squared times 2 to the 4th, I'm multiplying the same basis, so I'm going to add the powers. So this is just 2 to the 2 plus 4 power, which is 2 to the 6. Okay? Pretty easy. You've probably seen that before. The second property, when I have a power raised to a power, I call that superpower, because what's going to happen is this power on the inside gets shared with whatever power is on the inside. So you're going to multiply those powers. For instance, if I have x squared, then raise all of that to the 3rd power, what's going to happen is I have a power to a power, so I just multiply the power. So x to the 2 times 3, which is x to the 6. Okay? If I have 2 different bases on the inside of parentheses and just 1 power on the outside, then this power gets shared. So it's kind of like distributive property, but instead of multiplying, we're just sharing power. So both pieces on the inside are going to get that power. So for instance, if I have 2x on the inside and then squared on the outside, what's going to happen is both pieces are going to get that squared power. Okay, so this is 2 squared, x squared. And obviously I could keep cleaning up if I wanted to. I'm not going to in this particular problem. Same thing here, like we talked about in the previous video. If a power has a negative power, to make him happy, you just flip it. So if he's in the top bunk, you flip him to the bottom bunk to make him happy. If he's unhappy in the bottom, you flip him to the top. For instance, let's suppose I have 1 over x to the negative 2. This power is not happy in the bottom bunk, so I need to flip him to the top bunk to make him happy. As soon as he's happy, his power becomes positive. There's nothing left over at the bottom, so I'm just going to put a 1 as a placeholder. And I could clean this up. This is the same thing as just saying x squared. So again, if you have a negative power, you just flip his position, flip him to the top or bottom bunk to make him happy. All right? Very similar to what we've done before in a previous class. If you're dividing the same base, you subtract the power. So for instance, if I say 2 squared divided by 2 to the 1st. I have the same base and I'm dividing. So what I'm going to do now is subtract the powers. It's always top minus bottom of the power. So 2 to the 2 minus 1 power, which is just 2 to the 1st. Pretty easy. And then finally also, if you have 2 different things on the inside and a power on the outside, what's going to happen is we're going to share that power. Everything on the inside is going to get that power on the outside. So for instance, let's say if I have 2 over x, and I want to say that's to the 3rd power. Both pieces are going to get that 3rd power. So it's kind of like distributive property. Again, we're sharing that power. So I have 2 to the 3rd over x to the 3rd. Again, these are just some properties that you probably already have seen before, just a quick refresher review. So make sure you know them, and if need be, make you some more examples. That way it gets stuck in your head. The more you practice, the better off you're going to be. And that's it.